Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a tarot reading for SHINEE's member Onew. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I believe I am, but I could be wrong nevertheless. So this is the first time that actually I read for this member. I believe that from SHINEE I have read for Taemin and for Ki, and then I don't know about the rest. But yes, Onew has been requested, so today it's going to be a general reading for him. So let's start talking a bit about his energy. What I was able to find about his birth chart is that he is a Sagittarius sun with a moon in Cancer. So I know there's another Sagittarius that it's Minnow, but actually Minnow has a moon in Capricorn, so their energies are very different, in almost opposites to each other, but they do have the brightness of Sagittarius, of course. But in the case of Onew, I can see him being a bit more emotional, probably more in contact with his feelings, and probably like having a lot of mood changes or surprising people with how deep his way of feeling is, or his way of expression. Very sensitive person. I can see, I can feel it from connecting with his name, that he has a very beautiful aura actually, but yes, very sensitive. So let's start with the archetypes that he got. He got the archetype of the Queen, the Warrior, and the Storyteller. So yes, beginning with the Queen, I think that the Queen, it's actually very, it matches really well with him being a moon in Cancer, because the archetype of the Queen can be taken from a lot of perspectives, but in this case I think that we can see the Queen, instead of talking about how glamorous a Queen archetype is and how they are prosperous and how they are surrounded by a certain status, because when you have the archetype of a queen or of a king, it means that you had experienced life, that you had worked really hard in the past, and that now you can somehow relax a bit and enjoy a bit your everything that you had accomplished. It talks about you having a reputation. You having a history behind you. It's not that you are a rookie or someone that just starts. So the Queen could talk about having a very like being celebrated by everyone that knows you, but also in his case, I want to emphasize the quality of the Queen archetype, that it's to be a ruler, yes, but to rule with love and generosity, to have this sort of motherly vibe when it comes to being probably a role for others, or when someone comes to him to ask him for advice, or when someone wants to learn from him, and to be with him. And he is this person that he loves to share what he knows, that he loves to talk about experiences. He's very proud of everything they had accomplished, but he's also very understanding of, he's very empathic. So it's not like he's going to start naming right away all the things that makes him and the group amazing, and of course that they are very famous and that they are very talented. But I have a sense here that he's very humble, that Probably he is aware that he has a lot of people that look up to him or that admire him, but he wants to give a good impression. He doesn't want people to get awkward around him just because he is famous. And he just wants people to leave the room after having a conversation with him and feeling better. Probably for him in this period of his life is good for him, it's good for his soul to build good connections and also good experiences, to not, and sometimes to build good experiences in such a competitive environment like it's the music industry. Sometimes people can be polite, yes, but it seems like some encounters can be a bit forced, or can be arranged. There's always something about publicity, and we know there's money involved. But in this case, when it comes about him, I think that he definitely values to have encounter with people that he really that he can really have a good experience with, and probably like he can feel useful, that he can teach someone something, and a sort of feedback, a good experience. Probably he is also a bit, I wouldn't say awkward socially, but probably he's a bit shy, or he's someone that is a bit of an introvert. So even though he's very nice, probably he's very selective about who he hangs out with or who he spends his time with. And so yes, I see him like being a bit like selective, probably in the prior years they had to be like everywhere, like talking to a lot of people, but now he's like, no, now he's more selective, he doesn't spends his time with just random people around him, and I think that it also being surrounded by a lot of people can cause him a bit of anxiety as well. And then we have the warrior and the storyteller. So I think that there's something about here about being brave. I think that, like I mentioned, I sense that his energy is very, very, he's very sensitive. But I think that the circumstances that he had to go through, him owning his power, him being able to recognize his own value, him being able to fight also his own battles, because here the warrior archetype lets me know that he had to learn to be brave, actually. I think that there were moments where actually he felt like he wasn't enough, or like probably he didn't like confrontations, or there's something about his nature and him being a bit, him being like too empathic sometimes, that it's hard for him to actually give himself the place that he deserves, like I have a feeling that for him to confront people or to reclaim what's his is something that he really had to learn how to do it. He had to learn to say no also. But now he is this warrior. This is why the archetype is here. But what is showing me is that he had to embrace this sort of archetype, that it wasn't something that he was born with this. Because even though I have the feeling that even though he is a Sagittarius is a fire sign, there's something about him actually being a bit avoidant about, issues or like aggressive situations, or situations where you have to be, assertive. I think that he is someone that he's not that comfortable with that, and But nevertheless, he had to learn. He had to learn to be more tough, because I think that a lot of injustices happened, in his life, in his circumstances, where he actually he had to, defend himself. Defend his honor, defend his craft, his talent. Because. Like I mentioned, this is a very competitive environment, and not everyone that says that is your friend is a friend. So I think that it's nice to see that this archetype is here. And also here, if we think about the storyteller, I think that there's a side in him that he really wants to write a sort of memoir, or a sort of, or a book, or an autobiography, where he can actually talk from his perspective, from his point of view. He wants to tell his story, or probably the story of the band. So I don't know if if that's if that's actually possible right now, but I think that he had been like learning. There's something about him wanting to tell his side of the story, and I don't know exactly what he means about that. What does it mean to him? But it seems like he has a lot to say. He has a lot to say, because, like I mentioned in the beginning, I sense that since he is very sensitive, probably he had kept a lot of things inside of him, that he nowadays feels the urge to somehow express it, and I can see him like trying to, because I have a, and I'm going to like explain this when I read the other tarot cards that came out. There's something about the past, and him being actually a moon in Cancer does give me this sort of side of him of being very much in the past. So I think that he is, in order for him to heal, he needs to talk about how things were. I think that, and I think that also writing and expressing and words, it's a way of expression as well. I think that he needs that. He wants to turn into this storyteller archetype because he needs to talk, he needs to express, he needs to let it out. I think that there's something about him actually not being able to say what he really felt, because everyone were giving him or the group a certain speech about what they had to say or how they had to proceed. So I think that there were a lot of things that he wished he could have been more himself, and now he's like reviewing this. So let's go with the tarot cards. He got the Six of Swords in reverse, the Chariot in reverse, the Five of Wands in reverse, the Tower, the Ace of Pentacles, the Empress, the Hierophant, the Ten of Swords, the Knight of Cups, and the Nine of Swords. So yes, the first row that I see of cards here is actually what I was mentioning about the storyteller and about him actually wanting to talk about the past. Because 3 cards of this row are in reverse, and all these cards talk about movement and talks about you being able to move on, you being able to let go of the past, you've been able to like really move on. Because and I'm not saying, when I say movement, I'm not talking about you moving physically. I'm talking about you really like doing a transformation, you healing, letting go, integrating your pain or whatever has happened, and just to move on, but move on knowing that whatever you were carrying in the past is no longer with you, that you feel more free and probably a bit relieved. Here with the Five of Wands in reversed, definitely I think that there were a lot of arguments, a lot of competition, a lot of disagreements in the past. That actually there were a lot of things said. I don't know if it's between the members or if it's between the company and other, because I see a lot of people here, honestly. Like, I don't see just SHINEE members, I see a lot of people. So it could potentially be idols of other idols that he was closest to, because I see a lot of people here. And I also see like it has to do probably with the company. So I see a lot of things, very hurtful things being said and done, and actually then people like moving on or trying to pretend like they didn't say what they said, and him actually getting really hurt and offended by these things. So probably because it's work, he had to keep like meeting these people, and there's something about, you know, a lot of things being said that he really cannot let go of, you know. And I think that I have the feeling that he will eventually, because I have the Tower moment here, and I think that the Tower moment is about, you know, that things that no longer serve you, that they can just like evaporate, and somehow that they can just like no longer be. You know, there's something about, probably there are a lot of people that had said some things to him that he really felt very offended. But he had to keep facing these people, you know, keep working with these people. So probably he's like thinking, oh, well, okay, when this person gets his karma, I will be happy, or I will be free, or I will. It's like he's waiting for someone to get his karma, and I don't know what is it. But you know that the Tower moment, it's also about a lot of things that we thought that would last forever, especially when it comes to, because the Tower can literally represent a building, can represent an institution. So you know that I always, whenever I mention SM and YG, there's always this energy of a lot of things that are going to start like appearing, you know, like truths, and a lot of things that had been like kept in secret or kept in the dark for so long, that now they will start to appear, you know. And I think that he's waiting for this. He's waiting for this person to get a certain karma, because I think that this is only the way he will truly move on. Because I think that and I don't think that it's a dispute between the members or with a SHINEE member. I think that it has to do with other person or people that probably offended him and the group about a certain situation, and his heart broke in that moment, you know. And probably he was so shocked by hearing those words, or by that he just couldn't process it. It seems like he was traumatized by this, you know, that he couldn't process that that person was saying those words to him. So it's like he kept it inside, and he wasn't able to let it go until this day. It's like an old grudge. Yes, it's like an old grudge, and he's waiting. And because he is very sensitive, I would say he's very intuitive. Probably he knows about this person actually getting some kind of quote-unquote punishment, because it's like he knows something about this person. I mean, he thinks that this person is a bad person, like not just because of this person's sayings. It's more about this person's behavior. Probably this person is not very ethical. So, I think that he's waiting for this to destroy itself from inside out, in order to start over. Because actually being in this resentment or in this remorseful mode actually is like taking energy out of him, it's taking away his youth. And I know that it sounds a bit dramatic, but it's like it's taking, because he is very young actually at heart. He has a very childlike innocence kind of vibe. But when it comes to past wounds, he is very sensitive, and it's hard for him to let go of past offenses. Probably he thinks about this over and over and over, even though the years are passing by, and it has happened a while ago. But it's taking something away from him, so he needs to recover from this. But, like I mentioned, I think that if he's waiting for someone's karma to actually happen, I think he is right. And I think that this person will get their karma. And that it will be huge, huge. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles, the Empress, and the Hermit. And I think that after this happens and he's able to let go, I think he will be finally able to concentrate with creation again. I don't know if he had been releasing some some individual projects or something on his own, but I think that he needs to do this next year. I don't know if he was in the military or if he is in the military, but it seems like he needs to connect with creativity again. I think that he has a lot of potential. He has a lot of talent. And I don't know if he writes his own lyrics or something like this, because I see creativity being really fluent here, like floating, like pouring all over, and he needs to connect with this. He needs to start working on releasing songs or writing songs, because I think that it's the way also that he can connect with his own prosperity. I think that he has a lot of potential, and he has a lot of possibilities of being successful, but actually I think that he wasn't being able to connect with his talents or with his initiative because he was so stuck in the past. So I hope he can do it. I see the Ace of Pentacles and the Empress here, so definitely he will be working on something, and this will be very productive and very prosperous. But he needs to do it. He needs to get out of this hermit mode. There's something about him, he is he just recludes within himself. He doesn't want to share with others his struggles, or probably he's a bit shy and he doesn't like to ask others for help or to ask others for, he does have the contacts, he does know people, he does have the resources. So I don't know what has actually been keeping him so stuck. But I think that it's probably this person. Probably this person works with him as well. So he's like, oh, I'm not going to do anything more than what I have to do, because I don't want this person to take advantage of this or to earn money out of my work, something like this. But I think that he will set himself free after this person gets his karma. And then we have the Ten of Swords, the Page of Cups, and the Nine of Swords. So yes, a lot of insomnia, a lot of fears, but he will heal. And I think that actually despite of all these moments of insomnia, of him feeling a bit anxious, him feeling a bit depressed also, and I always try not to mention the word depressed because, to actually have a diagnosis like a depression, it takes a lot of evaluation. You cannot say those words just because you feel sad or because you had issues. Depression is a very serious and complex state. But I think he had been feeling a bit down, a few times. He always tried to keep, this smile, or he had always tried to keep himself up. He's a Sagittarius, so he would always show this optimistic side of him. But there was something beneath all those optimistics, a sort of evasion of his true feelings, but what I can see here with this Knight of Cups is that possibly, a love offer is on the way for him. I think that a prosperous relationship or connection with someone is about to manifest in his life after he goes through all this healing process and him getting rid of past offenses of what happened. I think that once he sets himself free from all those wounds from the past, he will start to see and notice someone that I think that this person had always been around him, but he never saw this person like a potential someone, romantic interest, because he just wasn't paying attention. I think that he also sometimes struggled with self-confidence. He probably, there's something about him, and I'm not saying that he didn't meet people. I think he did meet people, but he always has this, this inner voice inside of him that is like, oh no, I'm not good enough. Oh no, I cannot, I'm busy. I know it's hard to be me. He doubts himself a lot. But I think that love is on the way for him. Love is on the way. Love is on the way to actually help him remove and finally eliminate this very poor image he has of himself. There's something about him and his masculinity, or him as a potential lover, that even though he's really romantic, because I can see that he really wants love, he wants a true love, he's very romantic, he's a bit awkward. He's a bit awkward. Probably he doesn't know how to communicate properly. He says the wrong things in the wrong time, or he probably meets people that are not available, or people that he's interested in. He just doesn't connect, or he is not patient enough to wait for the relationship or the connection to blossom, to start. It seems like he has a very a very dreamy and a very idealized way of how he wants to meet the love of his life, and probably these aspirations are a bit too high or a bit too dreamy, and he hides behind those because he's afraid of getting hurt. This is the reality. But I definitely see him actually him meeting the one. I see him actually being on the way, on the way. And I think that actually what will connect him with this person is his insecurities. Probably one day he wakes up and he starts feeling anxious, or he starts feeling a bit not so positive about himself, and he's like, okay, what do I do? I need to do something. I don't know what to do. I need to change my life, and I don't know what to do. I don't know where to search. I don't know. and suddenly, I don't know, he starts doing a new activity, or he starts attending to a new place, or he starts, I don't know, learning something new. And then in this process of him trying to move on and finding new ways to distract himself, he will meet this person. And I think that it's going to be very nice for him, because this person is going to take away of this all these uncertainties. I think that this person also will have like a very nice attitude towards him, you know, and not because he's a celebrity, but he will have he or she will have a very refreshed energy, you know, that this person will be able to make him feel at ease, you know, that he can be himself, that there's no right or wrong. Probably this person is a sort of teacher or instructor, because I see this person being very understanding and having patience with him. And I think that this moment will be, you know, something that he will enjoy, and he will be able to relax a bit and show himself for who he really is and what he has available to give in a relationship, you know, because he's really loving guy. He's a really sweet guy. So yes, guys, this is all I have for Onew. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you do, please, I would appreciate if you give it a like or share it with other fans. And if you are a fan of him, I would love to hear your feedback about him, because, you know, I don't know much about them, so I would love to know your feedback as a fan. If you could tell me a bit about his history. You know, I love to hear from the fans' perspective more about those documentaries or Google, you know, that they do this very like robotic kind of biographies. You know, I don't like to read those, you know, I don't like to consume those. Instead, I want to hear the fans' perspective. So thank you so much, guys, to the person that recommended this, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.